DoorDash versus Uber Eats in 2023. We're figuring out what is the best delivery driving app for you to drive for so that you can maximize your earnings. If you're currently a delivery driver and you don't have both of these apps on your phone, I'd recommend signing up for them right now. Everyone has certain qualities that they prefer in a delivery driving app, so hopefully by the end of this video, you will know which one you may tend to drive for more, DoorDash or Uber Eats. As a delivery driver for these two apps, DoorDash and Uber Eats, you're going to get paid in a specific formula. There is base pay plus tips plus any incentive pay for the drivers. So let's get into base pay. DoorDash, in my market, base pay is $2.50 for a single order. And then if there is a stacked order, you get an additional $2 of base pay for the next offer. In some markets, that might be $2.25 for a single order and then $2 for the additional stacked order. Uber Eats, even though it's close, their base pay is usually $2 in a lot of markets I've seen, and additional stacked order is $1.50 base pay. So if you're not getting any tips on these orders, that is the pay you're going to be receiving. For base pay, DoorDash does win in this area. They pay more per order to the driver, so I gotta give it to DoorDash. Tips are the second factor into this pay equation, and I would say is the most important part as a delivery driver when you're factoring in your earnings, because tips make up, I would want to say, 70% of my total pay, and then the rest of the 30% comes from base pay and incentive pay. Even though DoorDash has better base pay, I would say Uber Eats has the better tips, and here's an example for you guys. So I'm putting up on the screen, I'm going to be ordering 2 Chipotle burritos with steak and guacamole. That is what's going to bring me to the subtotal of $39 for both the DoorDash and Uber Eats apps. And the pay fluctuates a little bit because I do have Dash Pass and I have Uber One as a customer. That is going to help me get $0 delivery fees. That's a video for another time, how I get Dash Pass and Uber One for free. But what you need to know right now is that these 2 burritos from these 2 apps are going to be $39, and that is before tip. So we go to the tip screen, is going to be the last screen before you place your order, and we go on DoorDash and we see that the suggested tip is $3.50. Under a 10% tip, that is not that great, unfortunately, and around that is $2.50 or $4.50. Or of course, you can always select other and then choose a different tip amount, but the suggested tip, $3.50. That's not very good at all. So then we go to the Uber platform, and what do we have here? We have a suggested tip of $6.75, a 15% tip on Uber. That is so interesting because I'm ordering from the exact same restaurant, I'm ordering the same food items, the same subtotal, and the suggested tip is completely different. I believe this is why I receive a lot higher tips on the Uber Eats platform than I do on DoorDash. You can test this out on your own phone, but I have done this quite a few times and I've learned sometimes they're the same, but a lot of times the Uber tip is higher. So that is why Uber is a huge win in this category, but I'm not even done because there's a thing called hidden tips. If you are an experienced driver, you've probably heard of this, or if you just watch YouTube videos about it, you will know that DoorDash hides tips from drivers if the customer decides to tip more than $4. This isn't like stealing tips or anything like that. We will still get 100% of the tips that the customer leaves, but on Uber, it's an $8 tip that gets hidden. I personally prefer apps that want to show more of the total payout, and that is why Uber is even more of a win in this category because you just have more information as a delivery driver before you accept the offer. The one problem Uber has is tip baiting on their platform. Yes, a customer can go in after a delivery and completely remove that tip so that the driver does not get paid. On DoorDash, this is not a problem at all, and that's why people are a little bit hesitant to drive for Uber Eats because you may think you're getting an $8 tip, but in reality, you might get a $0 tip if that customer wants to take it away from you for no reason. So that is something to watch out for, but it is pretty rare. So that's why Uber Eats wins this tip category. The third factor in delivery driver pay is incentive pay. For DoorDash, this looks like peak pay, often scheduled out days in advance and fairly consistent. It is sometimes the same times every single week. So on Friday night from 5 to 7 p.m. there might be $1 or $2 peak pay. You can often expect that to be the same the next week as long as it's for a busy time. DoorDash also has challenges, something that in 2023 is probably not going to happen for you. You just cannot expect this, but sometimes they may offer something like you get an extra $15 if you can complete 10 deliveries. That has gone away, and in 2022 we hardly ever saw that, and so in 2023 I really don't expect to see it at all. On Uber Eats in 2023, you now have to schedule your Boost Plus pay, where if you go into the opportunities tab of the app, you're going to just save it to your phone. I always save it to my phone even if I'm not going to be driving. I just have it there just in case I do decide to drive that night or that afternoon, and you usually get about $1 to $2 extra per delivery that you complete. Uber also has quests, something that is not too common, but I do see them on occasion. Sometimes I'll have some pretty good quests where it's usually like $2 extra per delivery, and this last one that I got was $3.50 per delivery as long as I completed the 10 deliveries or 20 deliveries. I got $35 for each 10 deliveries I completed. I saw this because I took a little bit of a break from Uber, and they sent me an email saying that they missed me and they wanted me back on the road, so that's how I got this. A lot of other people would say that they have never seen quests, but it may be coming to a city near you. I do want to say that Boost Plus Pay and quests are better than DoorDash's peak pay, even though it is more consistent and you can rely on it a lot more. Uber Eats slightly edges out DoorDash in this incentive pay category, and so I would say for pay as a whole, Uber Eats is better, but that does not make it the better app because we still have a lot more to discuss. Now that we have gone over the pay for delivery drivers, we have to talk about the opportunities. Pay is extremely important, but opportunities may be even more important to the average driver. Some of the similar things are restaurant delivery. That is the most common way to make money on these apps. Both DoorDash and Uber Eats, most of the orders are going to come from driving to a restaurant, picking up the order, and taking it to the customer. Very simple like that. Another similar thing is shop and pay orders. Things like grocery stores or drugstores, you will frequent them pretty often as long as you have the payment card. On DoorDash, it is the red card. On Uber Eats, it is the plus card. You can go into Safeway, Albertsons, you can go into CVS, Walgreens, and shop for the items that the customer requested when they ordered it on the DoorDash or Uber Eats apps. A large majority of your income is going to be from these order types, but DoorDash and Uber Eats have a lot of differences when it comes to making the rest of your money. In my market, DoorDash has grocery store pickup. You go to a grocery store, Safeway or Albertsons, and instead of shopping for the items, it has already been shopped for you. All you have to do is pick up all of the items that are just sitting there and you take it to the customer. It gets it done a lot more efficiently for you, but of course you're not going to be making as much money as if you shop for the items yourself. DoorDash also has Dash Mart, where sometimes DoorDash will set up a store in your city and you walk in, there's a DoorDash employee that's already shopped for the items, you pick that up and deliver it to the customer. There's also package pickup that is a brand new feature in 2023 that you might be able to take advantage of to make more money. I have read that DoorDash customers may want to return packages to UPS, USPS, or FedEx. They will have their package outside their door, they'll hand it to the dasher, and then you will deliver that to whatever destination that the customer requested in the app. I went onto the Uber app and apparently they do this as well. At least it's an option for me as a customer, but I have not seen any orders like that in my city, so I'm not sure if that's available to everybody. And speaking of Uber Eats, they have a contract with Walmart right now where you can go drive up to the Walmart, get the items, whether it's a grocery order or it might just be like one single item, and take that to customers. DoorDash had this too, but in the year 2023, DoorDash has moved away from that, and it is just Uber Eats that can do that. Walmart Spark also is able to pick up from Walmart. That's pretty much all they do, but Uber also has orders there. Under this opportunities section, I want to talk about all the different programs DoorDash runs. Right now, they have quite a few that you could qualify for. They have the Accept More, Earn More, or better known as the Diamond program. If you accept 50% of the orders or even 70% of orders, you can unlock priority access to some of these better paying orders. I am personally not a part of this program right now, but I've heard from a lot of drivers that you get better orders once you hit 50% acceptance rate. That is something new that is probably here to stay for this entire year. I don't think it's in every city yet, but I'm pretty sure it's coming. There's also Top Dasher, another opportunity available to delivery drivers where you have to meet certain requirements at the end of the month, and then you can access perks like Dash anytime. You don't have to schedule yourself, and apparently you might have priority access to orders of higher subtotals. You might have that, or they might have taken that away for this year. I haven't tested it out because Top Dasher just has not been worth it for me in my market. I've never been a Top Dasher, but it might be worth it to some people to look into. DoorDash also has large order program, and if you haven't checked this out and you haven't tried to qualify for it yet, I would highly recommend it. It is a great feature on DoorDash to try to get those larger catering orders, but it is invite only, so even if you meet the criteria, you might not be able to be in this program. I was accepted just a few months ago, and it has been a huge game changer. Something that is being implemented in 2023 and might be here to stay is time earnings mode, where you can earn a set dollars per hour, and you can also earn tips on top of that. But DoorDash will probably send you a lot of bad orders that other Dashers are not accepting, but at least it is a little bit more consistent income than what you would make if you were trying to accept all of the orders yourself. It might be something you look into, but for me, it might not be worth it. Uber Eats, however, does not have a lot of these programs where you meet certain criteria and then you qualify for better paying orders. This could be a good thing for drivers because even the ones that don't drive very much can still qualify for a lot of these higher paying orders, but it's also bad if you're a full-time driver, because if you're a full-time driver, you may want to side with DoorDash here and try to get some of those better paying orders, something that a part-time driver will not be able to reach. One huge opportunity that Uber has is Uber Rideshare. DoorDash cannot touch this at all. If you're an Uber Eats driver, it is very easy for you to apply for the rideshare platform, and yes, this doesn't fall under Uber Eats, but it's still a huge opportunity out there for you to make more money. Uber does have something called Diamond status that some people think may provide you access to better paying orders. I don't think this is the case, but we'll talk about the Diamond status later on in the video when we talk about extra benefits. As we're thinking about all this information, I would have to say DoorDash has a lot better opportunities for a driver if you're willing to put in the effort to figure out how to get priority access to these orders, and they just have a lot more orders on the platform than Uber Eats just because they have more partnerships. And so for that reason, DoorDash with a huge win in this category. But of course, we're not done. We now have Uber Eats has better pay and DoorDash has better opportunities. So let's get into the next section. Driving area, DoorDash versus Uber Eats. One thing is in common. You usually have to be close to restaurants that you want to accept orders from. That will not change between the apps. They rely on speed in their algorithms, so if you are close to a restaurant, they will send it to you so that you can quickly pick that up and take it to the customer. But that's basically where the similarities end, because on DoorDash, you will have different zones within your city, and you have to stay in that zone the entire time you're on that dash. If you want to exit and deliver in a new area, you have to end your dash and then schedule a new one, and then it's a whole thing on DoorDash, so you have to stick within your area. So if you get an offer that is high pay, but the mileage is really far, you may not want to take it because it might take you across zone lines and then you have to drive all the way back just to get a new offer. On Uber Eats, this is not the case. It can take you wherever you want to go. You may get pulled 20, 30 miles out of your preferred area, but you won't be zone restricted like on DoorDash. So if the pay is worth worth it, accept that 30-mile order, and then hopefully you can make your way back by accepting other orders. I might have to give the slight edge to Uber Eats here just because you're not restricted to one area, but you have to be careful because eventually it might take you to an area you do not want to be in. This might be a dangerous area or one that tips are pretty low, and so if you accept that long distance order, you may end up where you don't want to be. App functionality is huge for drivers because you don't want to be sitting there in a parking lot hoping to get your next really high paying offer only to see that there is a major nationwide crash and you cannot complete any orders. Well, if you don't want that nationwide crash, then you probably don't want to be on DoorDash when that happens, or at least relying on that for all of your income, because about every month or two, this tends to happen for a few hours, where on DoorDash, you will not be sent any orders as a driver. Other times, you might see small glitches in the app, like you're trying to drop off the food and complete the delivery, but the confirm button doesn't work, and so you have to sit there for 2 or 3 minutes while that loads up, and then you can continue on with your day. On Uber Eats, the app is actually pretty good. I think both apps are user-friendly, and even beginners for the first time using it, I'm sure you can figure out how it works. I would say the Uber app is maybe a little bit more friendly and it's a little bit easier to use. There's generally not a lot of glitches, and with any major crashes around the entire country, I have not seen this to be the case, and so that's why Uber Eats wins this category. As far as extra benefits go, DoorDash doesn't really have any, but Uber Eats does have their pro status, where if you qualify for different tiers, it may unlock certain extra benefits for you. So like when I got a flat tire, I called up Uber, I actually went through the app and submitted a claim for that. I was able to get a tow truck right to my car, and they replaced my tire for me completely for free because I was a platinum driver on Uber. But I don't even think you have to be a platinum driver to get that status. And there's a lot more for you to discover if you are a good driver in their system. But if you do sign up for rideshare, it's a lot harder to qualify for these pro statuses. So if you are interested in these, I would recommend staying with Uber Eats only. I personally have been enjoying Uber Eats more recently in the year 2023, but I know 2 years ago, DoorDash was easily my preferred app to drive for, so things can change really quickly. They are a very close first and second. Like I said in the beginning, sign up for both apps and drive for them so you can pair the information that you found in this video along with your own personal experiences to find out which app you're going to drive for more in the year 2023 and beyond. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to watch any others, click on the playlist right here, and I'll see you next time.